And ironically, the reason people imitate these things, why they copy them, because before 1960, nobody had stripes, at least not on their logos. And the reason they imitate it is that they think that there's some magic behind it, that it must mean computers and speed, and of course it has nothing to do with computers or speed.
Although now, but maybe the rationale came later, you know, electronic transmissions have these lines of resolution running across them. Now, you didn't know that then. You weren't aware of that.
Clairvoyant. You know, you can give me product.
But that's what we all read into it now, because that's what everything has broken. I mean, AT&T, they all have this little broken horizontal stripe.
That's what happens to a thing that becomes popular, and there's no real logic to it.
Now, how many? I think you're sort of well known in design circles for not showing or believing in showing the client a whole slew of options. You present.
No, I think for the same reason that a doctor doesn't give you a million choices. You know, if you got a headache, he'll give you an aspirin. I mean, he doesn't give you a choice between that and X-Lax. You know, it just doesn't make any sense.
But most of us, and I'm guilty, is, you know, you show them one and they go, well, I have nothing to side against. I need to see this against that. How do I know that's the best?
That's interesting, because that happened to me when I did the UPS logo. I brought it into the guy's office and didn't even bother taking my coat off, and I had it in the photostat rolled up, and I handed it to him. That was my presentation. And he looked at it and he said, have you got anything else? I said, that's it.
Yeah, and I guess, are they just kind of startled by your confidence in it, or they never?
No, I'm very sincere. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck or wise guy. I mean, I consider myself no brighter than anybody on the street, you know. And if I think it's right, then why bother making more?
Okay, so you work it out. I mean, you've gone through all the options yourself.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you explore all that.
These things look very simple, but they take forever to do.
Yeah, they're. It's amazing how durable. I mean, logos come. You know, yours.
No, the funny. I tell you, this is 30 years now since I did this. And they had a 30th anniversary for the logo at the UPS people, and they called me. They wanted to do an article on it, and I said to this editor, I don't know who your boss is, but whoever he is, will you tell him that I would like to make some corrections on this? I mean, this is not a come on. I'm not trying to make any money. I'll be delighted to do it for nothing.
Really? What did you want to do to it? You wanted to change it a little bit?
Just a little. Not that anybody would notice it, but there are a few things that are not perfect about it.
Well, I'm curious, just for instance, since I can't believe what you'd be unhappy with.
The way the bow is made, it should be more geometric. Maybe I never liked the point on the shield, but I knew that if I didn't put a point on it, people would think it was a pocket.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so I stuck the point on, but I would like to take it off. But the answer to the response to my request was no. No.
Well, that's flattering.
Don't do me any favors. No, we don't want to change.
Well, that's flattering. Go ahead.
Pardon? But it's true.
You also have in your book, well, I should hold the book, it's called The Designer's Art. You use a lot of typewriter, just plain typewriter type in your ad layouts, not layouts, but in some of your ads, some of your posters. And, you know, which looks it's startling because it's very direct, it's very kind of honest, well, almost primitive by type today, because there's so much fancy type going on. Is that why do you choose that?
I think that most good things have a timeless quality. You don't say, I didn't want to, you know, people associate even typefaces with styles. You know, Caslon would be the 18th century and Baskerville would be the 17th, or in between the two. And And typewriter is universal. You know, people are familiar with it. It's common. It's ordinary. It's familiar, and it's almost like a little dog. You know, you love it because you're familiar with it.
Comfortable. Well, we have to take a break. We've got a few seconds. We're going to take a break for almost a minute, and we'll be back with Paul Rand, see some more logos, and talk some more.
Of Lifestyles are Rich and Famous, and you're watching Migs B on television. Me and Migs B? Stay tuned, you'll find out why I always drink champagne when I cook.
Welcome back. I'm with Paul Rand, designer, world-renowned designer whose work you see every day. I'm going to hold up another logo, which is very familiar. I think, I'm not sure if they use it in this form currently, but we're on television. Here's a television, very famous television identity. Now, would this, again, is this the only one they saw? I mean, you walk in the door with ABC?
Right, the only one.
Now, there's something so disarming about simplicity, because people tend to think, you know, well, in the back of their mind, I could have done that, or my kid could have done that, or you always hear this kind of stuff. And yet, simplicity doesn't come that easily, does it?
It's possible for a kid to do this. I mean, it's very simple to draw. You get a compass and do it.
Well, after the fact,
after
sure.
the fact, of course.
But
you know, a funny story about the logo that preceded this was referred to as the toilet seat because that's what it looked like.
Yeah, okay.
Do you remember?
No, I'm trying to picture it. Sarah.
But you know,
oh, yeah.
my take on redesigning logos is that, if possible, try to have some connection to the old logo, so there's a frame of reference, so there's nostalgia. There's the value of the mnemonic device that you can recognize. And if you can do it and make it sort of updated, I mean, you have this double advantage, because updating implies progressiveness and so on.
Now, what if, for instance, ABC, for whatever happened, the contract fell through, they decided not to change the logo, you went home with this in your briefcase, the next day CBS called and said they needed a logo. Would this have adapted? Could you have just changed, put the C in front and added an F?
Of course.
Would this work just as well?
Absolutely.
So there's nothing intrinsically ABC about this?
No, the only intrinsic thing about it is that it's been seen for many years. As a matter of fact, I can tell you a story. You must have heard the story where the new management of ABC decided that they wanted a new logo. And they went through all sorts of ramifications and pyrogenics and calisthenics, and they hired many people, including some people who are my friends, very well-known guys, to do it, and they rejected everything. And then one agency person decided that maybe we can get some genius in an art school to do it. So they gave it to an art school, and of course, it was all, I didn't see the stuff, but it was all rejected. And then after going through all of this, and God knows how much money the management spent, they decided to make a survey, and they discovered that the recognition value was so high as I better forget about the whole business. This is a true story.